Hello and welcome to the Justice Factor, coming to you live from our studios in Hyde Park, Johannesburg. Auditor General Terence Nombembe said this week, out of 536 government bodies audited last year, only 117 or 22% received clean audits. That means that only 117 out of 536 government bodies who spend your money can actually say what exactly happened to it. I'll speak to Auditor General Terence Nombembe in our second interview of the day. After that discussion, we'll name and shame our loser of the week. We are not speaking to editors this week. My first guest is a government leader many of you have begged to see on the show. And we are glad to bring you Minister of Communications, Dina Pule, to discuss the SABC and other issues. Minister, welcome to the show. It's a great pleasure to have you. Let me start with the stuff that keeps people talking. What's in the newspapers today? Pule's SABC job for Pearl Secrets. It claims that you had meetings with the chief financial officer of the SABC months before she was appointed. Is she a friend of yours? Did you get her this job?
Justice, thank you very much for having me in the program. And secondly, she's not my friend. That's first. But two, I don't know where this is coming from.
Did you have meetings with her, though, before she was appointed? Did you promise her a job?
No, I didn't. But of course, Justice, the interviews of the jobs at the SABC or any other entity or company that reports to the department are not done by the minister, are done by the boards themselves. I'm surprised that if I had a meeting, how come they interviewed her and then they recommended her? The
allegation is that this was just a rubber stamp, that actually she had these meetings with you, that she then went on to get the job and signed off a contract for the ICT in Daba.
I want to say that it means that I am a superwoman. You know, at the SABC, you have 12 board members. If 12 board members would rubber stamp a decision by one person, then it means that person is a superhero. But
there were several people in that list of people who were interviewed and actually found suitable for the job, and you turned it back. And the SABC, according to the Mail and Guardian, the chairman and yourself said, no, we're not happy with these individuals until her name, Gugu Duda's name, came up and that was approved by you.
Yes, I concur. I don't approve. I concur. The board brings the interview.
So you concurred, but after not concurring with the other names?
No, but I don't know any other names that they're talking about. They gave me this one. This is the one that I concurred with. But of course, also, Justice, I'm not surprised that many people, when they have their own problems, they throw it to me. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised very soon that if Kaizer Chiefs doesn't win a league this year, they're going to say it's me.
Fair enough, but you did write a letter to the SABC in which you said, and you found the suspension of Gugu Duda to be inconsistent. According to, there were inconsistencies in it, and many people are saying, why is it you're so concerned about this particular individual and not about so many others when there are such big problems at the SABC?
Yes, very strange, Justice, because in the letter, I didn't write about Dudu. In the letter, I wrote about the inconsistencies of the board in handling issues of corporate governance, which related to the removal of Hlaudi Mutshweneng from the position of a COO and the appointment of Mike to the position of COO. Because when you remove and when you appoint, you ask the minister to concur or not to concur. What I was saying to them is, I would have loved to have brought the appointment of the acting CFO, because as we sit here, Justice, we have a CFO who's acting at the SABC who has not been appointed properly. And that, for me, is a problem. They twist it around. They want to talk about...
Who are they?
The board. I'm saying that the board was... The people who are talking about this, I don't know who they are. But the letter that you're talking to, it's a letter that I wrote to the board. I'm worried, and I'm still very worried here as I speak to you, because as you have said earlier on, you are going to be talking to the Auditor General, and they have a CFO who's acting, who has not been appointed properly. In other words, that's going to be an Auditor General's query very soon. This person started in November and he has not been appointed properly. In other words, there's a person who's signing off monies of government who has not been appointed.
But the allegation is that you're interested in the issues around the CFO because your friend has been suspended, not really because of corporate governance issues. And I would put it to you that actually the SABC has had huge corporate governance issues, which you should have dealt with a long time ago.
No, I am busy dealing with it, Justice. To an extent that as we speak now, I have written so many letters to us to say to them they must change, mingling in management and deal with the corporate governance issues. If they were fair, those who showed you the letter that I wrote about the acting CFO, they should have shown you all the letters that I've been writing to them. I have been worried about this to an extent that I even wrote to the portfolio committee to say they must assist because, of course, as you would know, Justice, the board members of the SABC are not appointed by the minister. No. They are actually appointed by the Parliament.
So what's your recommendation? I would say dissolve the whole SABC board. It's not working. It seems as if it's political. It's not competent to do its job.
Look, exactly where I was going. I have written to the portfolio committee because the portfolio committee or Parliament must assist me with that. I have written them a letter to say they must assess and see if the board is fit to sit at
do you think it's
the
fit
SABC.
To sit?
I mean, with all the challenges that are there and those challenges that are actually thrown to me instead of them dealing with those challenges, I think I have a problem with the board.
Do you want them to leave?
No, it's not my call. It's the call of Parliament because I don't appoint. It's the call of Parliament and it's the call of the President.
What do you recommend to the President?
Of course, I would want to have a board which works very well.
Does this one work very well?
I mean, with all the problems, Justice, why are you asking me?
Oh, well,
let's hear the public.
I have my views, but I'd like to hear what the minister has to say.
Let's hear the public, what the public says, because that board serves the public. The board of the SABC is a public broadcaster, and that board serves the public.
It doesn't have a chairman. It doesn't have a deputy chairperson. It doesn't. It seems dysfunctional. Are you going to recommend to President Zuma to accept Ngubane and Kaplaki's?
I have already. Spoken to the president and I have requested him to accept. And I believe that he may have accepted.
The other issues, you believe he may have accepted?
Yes.
The other issues that have come up around yourself over the past few months, in fact the past year, has been the issue of the ICT in Daba. Do you not think that it's a problem that these allegations continue, that you are so close to this gentleman, Maposani Mcibisa, and that there's a conflict of interest, that he was part of the organizers of this ICT in Daba?
Thank you very much that you have asked that question, Justice, because it's very important that we set things very clear. You see, as a minister, I don't appoint service providers in the department. It's officials. But two, the officials appoint a service provider. If a service provider goes beyond outside the department and appoint other people, it's none of our business. It's none of my business, So if they have done that and they have fought or for whatever reason outside there, and then they start coming back and say, it's me, it's very unfortunate. And of course, it's very unfortunate, Justice, because it took so long. And I think it's nonsense that people, when they have their problems out there, they would then turn around and come back and say, it's the minister.
Did you or did you not know that this gentleman had a subcontract with Carol Bauer Productions?
No, I didn't know. It's not my business, Justice, to know who does what in the department. It's a responsibility of the officials.
But
I don't sit in the committees.
Is this gentleman romantically linked to you?
No, it's an allegation, Justice.
Are you prepared to say now that no, this gentleman is not linked to you?
No, it's not. Justice, I'm not willing to come here and talk about my friends and my family here.
The point I want to make,
yes.
and I don't mean to. I don't think I'm interested really in your private life. However, if the minister is linked to this gentleman, there's a perception of a conflict.
Justice.
You have said there is no conflict of interest.
No, I am not linked. Justice.
The allegations, therefore, that he has gone on numerous trips, 19 to be exact with you, on overseas trips, on business trips which you were on, you don't think that is cause for concern for the public?
Of course, it may be a cause for concern for the public if it was true, but it's not true. And we're talking about an issue, Justice, here that is in the hands of the public protector. And I want to call for people, if they think that they have something that they should take it to the authorities instead of throwing it in the papers and keep on alleging. I don't think it is fair that they keep on alleging when this matter, when there are authorities that can deal with this matter. As we speak here, Justice, it's in the hands of the public protector.
One of our viewers asks, is the ICT Indaba going to take place this year in light of all these problems?
Look, it's the decision of the officials in the department. They will advise the minister as to whether they want to continue or whether they don't want to continue. But I can tell you, Justice, here, as we sit here, that the Indaba was very successful. And I don't think that people must take those allegations that are coming later and, and rubbish the Indaba. Anybody who has watched the Indaba and anybody who has followed the Indaba, they would know that it was very successful. It was successful because we managed to bring so many people in the country. We managed to make sure that we discuss issues of broadband. You'd remember that my predecessor in 2011 met with the industry in the country, and they discussed the issues around broadband. And in that Indaba, we did speak about broadband to an extent that ministers of SADC ministers took a decision that extended to the decision that we had in the country. In the country, we
Minister
said,
Pule,
no, Justice, I want to say this. In the country, we said we want to roll out broadband at least 80% by 2020 and 100%. And the ministers of SADC, they said actually in Africa want to make it 80%. I think that's a good thing that people of South Africa must appreciate.
Minister, we've run out of time, but I just want to ask you about the people of South Africa want digital terrestrial television to be rolled out. Will we make the 2015 deadline?
I think we will make the 2015 deadline, Justice, as I sit here, because of the fact that today, as we speak, the signal has been distributed to at least 74%. And by the end of March, we will be at 80%. And what more do we want? After the distribution of the signal, it's a set-top boxes, and we are going to be able to manufacture. Manufacturers have said, yes, we are going to have set-top boxes by end of 2013.
Thanks so much, Minister, and I wish you luck with the DT team.
Okay, thank you very much, Justice.
After the break, we ask Auditor General Terence Nombembe if taxpayers' money is being stolen. Stay with us.